Hey, good morning, everybody. Uh, well, it's 5 a.m. here. It's the only time I get to get a bit of peace and quiet, really, to be able to talk about, what's going on for me without prying ears, listening to what I'm saying, because not everybody in my household wants to hear this story or the details over and over and over again. I take, sometimes, because I'm human, I take a little bit offence by that, but what I have to understand is that not everybody can stomach or compute exactly what that means to a family member. I mean, my perspective of how I see things is my perspective, but that's because I'm the victim. Oh, well, no, I'm not the victim. I don't do the victim. I'm the survivor. Because I took back my power when I put an end to my abuse. But at least I thought I did. Obviously, I'm 44 now, so obviously I didn't completely take back the power. I did probably what the majority of people would do, and that's to push it far back into my head, right to the back, lock the key, throw it away, and off we trot. And this is where it's got me now. So just in case you're wondering where I am, I'm sat in my back garden in a gazebo. I literally live out here in my garden. I mean, obviously I don't live in my garden, but I love nature, and I like to be outside and hear the birds sing, and that's something that I find brings me some peace, especially now with everything that's going on, because although I can't talk about any of the details of my case, and I wouldn't, because I wouldn't ever want to jeopardise anything to do with my case, because it has to be done right, but it's hard. It's really hard at times. It's the emotions, the flashbacks, the imagery is so vivid. I mean, I could be doing anything. I could be watching TV, I could be stroking my dog, I could be talking to one of my grown-up children, and all of a sudden this image will come into my head, and it's etched there, and it doesn't disappear just because I don't want to hear it. It's there and it stays there, and I try to change the subject as best as I can. I mean, I really do. I don't want to envisage that stuff. What happened. I wish I could never, I wish I could unsee it all, but unfortunately it's etched away there in my brain. And I think that's one of the things that people don't talk about. I mean, I've had very little in the way of I mean, unfortunately I've learned that if you want support, me, absolutely, we are responsible for going out and getting it, because it just isn't there at hand. There is some amazing charities out there like NSPCC. They've got a new campaign going at the moment. Certain funding has been put into certain places, but it's only such a small amount, because every year all of this funding gets cut, and it gets cut, and it's get cut. And as it stands, and I read this in an article only a couple of days ago, so, but don't quote me, that parental sexual abuse, which is where I'm at, parental sexual abuse is considered a low risk in the grand scheme of things. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, oh no, I don't know. You get child trafficking, you get all of these other heinous crimes. And there absolutely should be the support out there for anybody that experiences any kind of sexual crimes or whatever crimes. It's not just about childhood abuse, historical trauma. There just is not enough funding to provide enough support. And that's why I think it takes women with the hopes and dreams like myself, women like yourselves, that want to do something to help people like us, because the support just isn't out there. And I believe the only way we're going to do that, you know, is by women sticking together. Women get well with women. That's a well-known fact. You know, you need to stick with the winners. You need to support each other. You know, be able to just pick up the phone and talk to somebody else who's been through what you've been through, because we're the best will in the world. I mean, my family love me. I mean, I'm truly blessed with the family I have, my wonderful sons, my wonderful husband. How he puts up with me sometimes I do not know, because my mood swings recently have been all over the show, and as to be expected during a process like this, when you have to revisit everything, it's a lot. It's a lot. And my husband is amazing to deal with that, because I've come up with issues throughout my past where my partner at the time wasn't as susceptible to supporting me through these kind of issues, didn't want to talk about it, because it's too much for some people's heads to just compute. It's not normal in everyday life. It's just little pockets of this is going around, and it's been going around for years, and it isn't going to change now. I mean, it's fantastic that, you know, 7 years ago they decided to change the law on the same roof rules. So basically, you know, we should be grateful now that if our abuser lived under the same roof, you know, we can actually take it to court and get some justice now, as long as the evidence and everything else is there to back it up after 30 years, because obviously there's going to be no medical evidence. But yeah, I mean, well, thank you very much. I'm really grateful that, you know, I decided to speak out now, because had it have been 7 years ago, my case would have been done and dusted and pushed under the carpet, and that was the end of it. And I wonder how many women that's happened to. It's not acceptable. The whole point for me personally to start the progress of trying to set something up, women to women, peer-to-peer support, you know, real people that have walked in our shoes, supported people like us, that knowledge and experience is just invaluable. You know, you can't go to college, you can't go to university and learn these skills. These are lived skills. And I deeply, deeply feel with every ounce of my body that the only way we can get support out there, real support out there to women who need it when they need it, is by women like us. And my dream is that we can unite against other organisations, we can network, we can build a bigger team, we can provide little support pockets all over the country, you know, to support women like us. I know there is phone numbers that you can ring, and they're amazing that you've got these phone numbers that you can ring at any time of the day, and that's fantastic, and well done to those service providers that have provided those phone lines, because they are crucial in the steps to recovery. However, not taken away from how amazing they are, because they are. What about real support from somebody who's walked in your shoes? You know, hopefully women will get together and they'll talk together and they'll support each other, and they'll find similarities in their stories, or there might be some differences in their stories, but some people will understand more than others, because some different things happen to other people in different ways, you know. So yeah, the whole point really, my dream for Daughters of Justice UK is to build a support network, to build what's not available to me right now. This is missing. This is what I've come across. Where do I get my support? I can pick up the phone, of course I can, and speak to somebody, but it's not the same. Believe me, it's not the same. When you're telling somebody your story and they have no idea and couldn't, thankfully, comprehend what you've been through, how are you going to get the proper sympathetic ear that is needed for cases like this? There's not enough support, and that needs to change. the draconian laws that have been around for hundreds of years, you know, that are completely irrelevant today. They need to be looked at. They need to be changed. Let's stick together. Let's start a revolution. Let's be the change that we want to see. Let's be inspirational. Let's hold our heads up high when we've been through our trials and come out the other side. You know, let's just be women, supporting women in the best way that we can. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I haven't gone on too long. But anyway, have a wonderful day. One love.
I'm aware of the bonds that were created today. When you told me that sure there's a way, the water's so still and my pain has gone away. The air is much cleaner after it rains.